Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA to the Galaxy podcast presented to you by DSM Media, as well as your host, myself, Slim. You can follow me on X at R2R30111. You can follow your other host here, Scotty around. And as you can see by the title today, there's a lot to dive into. Can AD be on the move? NBA Cup's final predictions, so on and so forth. But nonetheless, welcome back to the pod. It's been a week since we did this again. And we appreciate everybody that tap in for sure. We got a fire lineup today, like I just mentioned. NBA trades heating up, the NBA Cup going crazy. But before we dive into any of that, my guy Scotty, how you living, bro?
Living good, man. Feeling good. It's been a busy week, but we like it that way. Keep life moving, keep progressing, keep grinding. I'm feeling good though, bro. Happy to see you. Happy to talk some ball. The Sixers, man. I was confused the last week. I'm like, why the hell are the Sixers not playing right now? And then come to find out, obviously the NBA Cups is winding down. That's why all these teams are not playing most of this week. But the NBA Cup's been interesting. We had the quarterfinals the other night. We'll get into a few predictions for the semifinals and finals of that. That's just fun. But yeah, it was an interesting article that came out from Shams over this past week. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but he put out this recent article kind of talking about different rumblings around the NBA when it comes to trade destinations, trade candidates. So I thought that article was really interesting and kind of gets us right, geared up, headed towards February in the trade deadline and the All-Star weekend. It's all going to be here before we know it, man. December's coming to an end. It's in sight. So let's dive right into it, brother. Where do you want to start today, my man?
Hey, man, let's kick it right up the top of the head with the AD news. Pretty much just discussing, free trade destinations and stuff like is it Shams or Shams? Because it's like this has been like a tug of war for 3 years now. Like, is it
I think I
Shams?
say it differently each time, quite honestly.
We'll go with Shams.
Yeah, let's go
Somebody
with
told me
Shams.
Shams, but I'm gonna say Shams. So anyway, like AD, bro, like it's a free trade destination. Like teams linked to him.
Yeah.
The Detroit Pistons, the Atlanta Hawks, the Toronto Raptors. Why AD is on the market? Dallas deciding, extend versus trade turns 33, huge contract, but he's still elite one healthy though. So it's saying that, man, like when you break it down, the Pistons right now, the best record in the East, don't need AD to necessarily be elite. Just come in and be a star in his role. Those other guys will make it, easy. And then obviously like the idea of Cade and AD, that sounds pretty good on paper.
Yeah.
Defensively, more so the offense. But the Raptors, on the other hand, Scotty Barnes plus AD, defensively they could look very nice. But on the flip side of it, they start to wonder between Ingram, Scotty, and RJ, which one of those guys you had to give up to get AD.
Right.
So that's something to kind of think of. The Atlanta Hawks, they have been looking very, very good without Trae Young. So in saying that, if you could potentially move a guy like Trae Young and get AD, plus what they already have over there, I mean, hey, that could look pretty nice. He definitely will raise that team ceiling to say the least.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
I seen that the Hawks wouldn't want to give up a pick for next year's draft. I had seen that, so that's something to kind of think about it. But nonetheless, the question is like, which team actually improves their title odds the most by adding AD? You would say between Toronto, Atlanta, and Detroit. And then, like a bonus thing, you kind of add your thoughts on the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
a loaded question.
It's interesting. It's interesting because I'm looking at these three teams. First of all, I think you look at the Mavs and where they're at this season. It explains a lot of what they're doing. And then you look at what they got in the draft. They got Cooper Flag, who they've been trying to put him at this point forward spot, trying to get him to handle the ball, be a point guard for them. And it's just not working. He needs to play the forward spot, whether that's power forward, small forward. And so I think they look at PJ Washington. They look at, Derek Lively, who went out for the season. He had surgery the other day, I saw. I think they just look at that and they think they're going to be covered going forward at that position with Cooper Flag in mind. And just getting what you can for Anthony Davis while you still can. So it makes sense from the Mavs perspective. They've gotten off to a slow start. And I did see they're open to moving like D'Lo, Klay, Daniel Gafford, so on and so forth. So they may be, opening up everybody to be available for all we know. But out of the three teams you mentioned, the Pistons, the Raptors, the Hawks, I'm going to go with the Raptors. And I think it's a very interesting pick. And I'll tell you why. Because I look at the Pistons and they have Duran, whatever you want to call him. Jalen Duran is the way I pronounce it. So they got, that big force in the paint. Like he's going to be an all-star this year with his numbers that he's putting up. So I think I'm not saying they won't get better with Anthony Davis. I'm not putting it like that. It's just that they have a force in the paint already. Then you look at the Hawks, kind of a similar thing. I mean, I know, Jalen Johnson, he's not necessarily this big power forward like Anthony Davis. It's going to block shots or protect the rim. But you do have Kristaps Porzingis, who you brought in this offseason, who does have that championship experience that they still haven't quite seen what he looks like with the roster yet. Maybe you include him in a deal for AD. Maybe that's the way you make it work. I don't know. But I just look at the Raptors. They have the void in the paint where AD is going to be a significant upgrade to whatever they have going on. Jakob Poeltl, right? You would be able to move Scotty Barnes maybe up the line, maybe to the small forward. And to your point, maybe you do have to get rid of maybe it's – I think RJ Barrett is who I would pick out of the three guys.
Messed up.
I think, right? Like, I don't know. Just the shooting. I think he's the clunkiest out of the three where the rest of them could make it work with AD. But I just think adding AD to that front court, that's the biggest increase in talent that they would have when it comes to front court players compared to the other two. What about you? What do you think out of those three?
Honestly, I would have to go with Toronto as well because, initially I just listed and said that they would probably have to give up either Ingram, the big three, Ingram, RJ, or Scotty. But the fact of the matter is, if you are negotiating right, you could technically still get AD without moving any of those guys because Jakob Poeltl makes a lot of money. And Emmanuel quickly makes a lot of money. So I'm saying you could probably package either one of those guys, throw a few young players in there, and then, obviously include picks. So I'm saying I think AD will obviously raise that team's ceiling, to potentially say like, okay, this team is a lock to be in the playoffs for this season. So, I think it makes the most sense for them to go there. To your point, I would have to agree with the Detroit thing. Like, they have been rolling, and you don't know if you trade for a guy like AD, would he come in and ruin that, or would he obviously just help in a sense? Because you had to give us some good assets to get a player like that. So I'm saying that you don't want to ruin the chemistry or whatnot. And also, I would have like concerns with the fit with the Atlanta Hawks because, to your point, Jalen Johnson has been thriving at the 4, and AD wants to be a 4. He said this numerous times that he does not like playing the 5. So it's saying that I think it makes the most sense for him to go to Toronto, honestly.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I think it's just to that point of, like you said, it makes Toronto Raptors a lock for the playoffs. You get that championship experience with AD that they kind of don't have, right? Like, I know they just won a championship a few years back, but most of that roster has been turned over. Those same guys aren't there anymore. But to be clear, you add them to the Pistons, like, say they would turn into – they're already a championship contender for my money, so I guess it's not to say they would turn into one, is my best way to put that. But no, it's interesting, man. We'll see what where AD ends up. Who do you think out of those three has the most to get him? Like, who do you think it's most realistic for? My mind says Detroit. I'm thinking of like a Star
Detroit and Toronto for sure.
Yeah,
because like Dallas would probably want either Scotty or RJ or Ingram, but then also Detroit has a lot of young pieces. To your point, a Short Thompson, Ron Holland, draft capital, things like that. So
Jaden Ivey. I mean,
Jaden Ivey. Yeah, it is true.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with AD. I think he can make a huge impact on a potential playoff team. So we'll see what he can do, man. Where are we going next? I know there was some more in this article.
Yeah, man, we're shipping over to the West Coast, bro. We're going to talk about the Los Angeles Clippers. Honestly, bro, I feel like we have been talking about this team way too much. But the fact of the matter is, we covered the whole NBA, so goddamn, we got to talk about every team. So here is the current Clippers reality right now.
Yes, sir.
Terrible start to the season, bottom in the Western Conference. Don't own their 2026 draft pick. The Oklahoma City Thunder does, so allow that to sink in. Do not let that statement go over your head. Um, Kawhi and Harden both still productive, but carrying, is obviously bringing mileage on their body, and it shows because their numbers look pretty good, but it isn't translating to winning. So that obviously,
That's a good
says a
point.
lot right there. But here's the case to trade those to make like some type of shakeup. Me and you were just talking about this before we went live. Like, it probably makes the most sense to shake some up now before their value gets any lower because right now those guys' value are kind of high. Kawhi's been playing the games. Harden
Yeah,
has been kind of rewinding the clock in a sense, so it makes sense to kind of, you know, look out there and see what you can get for those guys. So, get young players plus picks and reset. The team look kind of old, slow in a sense because even like Zubac usage rate has kind of went down opposed to last year, and we
yeah,
all know the type of season he's had last year. And even when you look at his stats now, it just isn't the same. So,
yeah. Production's
honestly,
down.
though, like, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think that they should just cash out now or just try to see this thing through? Honestly,
It's so tough because they've mortgaged their future. To your point, right? OKC has their first round pick next year. They don't have draft capital. I want to say until like 2029, something like that.
it's ridiculous.
So they've traded all of it to get these players in here. You know what I mean? And to move off of them, it sounds foolish now, but I think you have to kind of swallow your losses in a sense and do what you have to do now because they're not winning anything, man. They're 6-18. They're probably not making the playoffs if we're being honest in the Western Conference. They're probably out of
Absolutely.
it already. You know what I mean? So I'm just looking at this roster. Those are the pieces that you would want. I think outside of maybe like a Zubac, I'm sure there's some teams that would want him, but I think Harden and Kawhi are the ones you move. Do you move both of them? Like a complete overhaul?
Honestly, if the pack is too good to where you can't turn it down, you got to do it.
Like
Because
if you
like
move one, I feel like you got to move both, right? Like,
yeah, because like why that value is pretty good right now.
right,
Yeah.
right. And it's like if you can move Harden and keep Kawhi, but what's the point of keeping Kawhi if you're not competing at the highest level? So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I feel that. Just move both of them and start over at this point. I am curious, and I'll ask this to the commenter as well. Who is more valuable right now? And tell me if that's a dumb question. It might be. I mean, maybe Kawhi is just overwhelmingly more valuable. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it, Slim?
I mean, you can make the case for either guys. Like obviously James Harden is more durable, in a sense, but
Good point.
when it comes down to when it matters the most,
Right.
it's hard to go against Kawhi, especially when you compare him to James Harden. Like even like last year, bro, like Kawhi was not doing shit all season. This motherfucker get in the playoffs and go crazy, bro.
He's the one
Like,
in the playoffs.
yes,
Yeah.
like he just one of those dudes that when it matters the most, he just elevates his level of play, and it matters to him. He's a different player. But honestly, I'd probably have to go with Kawhi, even though James Harden does his thing in the regular season. I'd probably go with Kawhi because
Yeah.
he's a fun guy after all. So
Yeah. I think to your point, it kind of depends on who would be trading for who. If I'm going for a championship this season, I'm going for Kawhi for sure.
yeah,
If you just want to have some fun, you want to sell some tickets, get some fans in the building, maybe make the playoffs, you go get James Harden. I think
yeah,
that would
and
be the difference for me.
also, bro, it's crazy because I don't know if you remember this. Like you actually forgot at one point last season that Kawhi was even on the Clippers.
Yeah, that is though. But hey, let me tell you this, bruh. If there was some way the Sixers could get James Harden back, it will never happen. The relationship is fractured between him and Morey. I would love it. I would do it in a heartbeat, bro.
It's like, yeah, but it's like, how would that fit though?
I know, yeah. Now with the guards and shit, yeah. There's really no
Jay
space.
Maxey doing the damn thing over there. It's just, I don't know.
Maybe we can give like PG and a first for Kawhi.
For Kawhi? Oh, that would be crazy. Imagine trading
Nah,
Paul George back to the Clippers.
it's not gonna happen. American dream for sure. Nah, we'll see if they blow it up, man. The other team that I was looking at in that article was the Sacramento Kings. They were mentioned as well, and I think they make a lot of sense to
Oh,
kind of
absolutely.
break
Yeah.
that core up, man.
Absolutely, bro.
We talked
I
about
was,
that. We talked about that, like moving basically. It's like Chicago West
yeah.
with Lavine
Zach
and DeRozan.
LaVine,
What's the
yeah,
point?
Zach LaVine and DeMar reuniting the play-in brothers, back in it again. Because when they was in Chicago, bro, they could not
I
stay at the
haven't heard
play-in.
that one yet.
Bro. They stayed in the play-in nonstop. But no, the Sacramento is a great because when you look at that roster, they have a lot of money on their payroll. I'm talking about Keegan Murray is cool, he's young, but you got veterans like Zach LaVine, Sabonis, DeMar, Dennis Schroeder. Those guys make a lot of money, so it's just best to kind of move on. And honestly, though, bro, like Russell Westbrook, I would like to see him hoop for a contender because he's been pretty good this season, to say the least. So, yeah, it just makes sense to break it up and just let those young guys do their thing in Sacktown. Honestly, like before you say what you guys
Yeah,
say, bro, it's crazy. I was just talking about the Kings to my other homies, bro. Like it has to suck to be a King fan, bro. It has to. Like they made the playoffs for the first time in 17 years a few years ago, and ever since then they've been on the decline, bro. Like
yeah.
honestly,
No, I do feel that. I do feel that. And the Sabonis thing was fun at first, but then you start to realize like this isn't a guy. There's a reason Indiana was like willing to move off of him. You know what I mean? Even though he fills the stat sheet. But no, I agree with you. I think it's time for them to blow it up. It's just like, can you trade 3 players of that caliber, right? Like it's a lot to do within like one trade deadline, right? So more than
yeah.
likely it would just be like one of them. The other name that I saw mentioned in that article, which is even more interesting, is Keon Ellis, which he's only 25 years old. He's like a combo guard, right? He can shoot the ball.
Defend.
Um, I feel like he would be highly coveted if they
No,
really
he
do
can
make him
defend.
available. So we'll see, man. Kings. What about your Warriors? What about Jonathan Kuminga? Where are you personally with Jonathan Kuminga right now in this season?
Just time to move on. No love lost on my end. Wish the brother the best, but it just isn't there. It's just like I'm gonna say it as simple as this because I don't want to spend too much time talking about it.
Yeah.
It's hard when you look at it from this perspective, and it's the truth. Like when he doesn't play, we win. When he's in the game, not so much. So that's just the
As
way you
simple
gotta
as
look
that.
at it. You got other guys like Guy Santos coming in, impacting, winning. Pat Spencer, all these guys like doing things that translate to winning.
Yeah.
Whereas it to when Kaminga get in, it just don't look too pretty. And that's not even no shot towards him. Like his, the way he played probably just don't fit our system, honestly. It's just best to move on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It just seems like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it just seems like a little bit of overlap between him and Jimmy. And Jimmy's just obviously better version of like what I would imagine Kuminga could be, I guess. I guess I'm just curious what you guys could get back for him at this point. I think you could get something decent back
Yeah, we
for
can
him.
definitely get some side. Like I wouldn't mind getting somebody like Sabonis in Golden State, honestly, because I know what he can do. Like defensively, he sucks, but we got guys that can cover that up.
Can cover him. Yeah, no, that's actually a great plug. Sabonis. Jonathan Kuminga, and Kuminga fits kind of what they would need if they're willing to move off of DeMar DeRozan. I think, once again, you get into that overlap a little bit,
Yeah,
but
we can send DeMar down there to Philly and just
hell no. No mid. No, I don't need no mid-range merchants, bruh. I'm good, man. I like what we're doing. We're trying to increase 3-point output in Philadelphia, but
It is what it is, bro.
no, the last thing I'll point out from that article was you mentioned Trae Young earlier.
Scotty been reading.
What was that?
That's what my boy Scotty been reading over there. See, my man got the reading glasses over there, bro.
You're trying to play me,
glasses, bro.
But nah, the Hawks, bro. They basically the way that Shams article phrased it was that they believe that Trae Young coming back will elevate this roster. So they're not necessarily looking to move him off the roster.
I mean, you don't know until he come back. So I feel like it's worth it. Just like,
See?
Miami, when Tyler Hero came back, I wouldn't say that they lost a step. If anything, they just kind of got a tad bit better in a sense. Like, obviously, they got to figure out other guys' role on the team, but they still be looking pretty good. So when we look at it from the Hawks GM perspective, I think that it makes sense to kind of, let the season ride out and see how he fits in it. The only major concern I have is that when you look at a guy like Jalen Johnson, right? The man had a triple-double at halftime like a few days ago or last week. Like his assist numbers is up there.
Yeah.
So in saying that, like when Trae Young comes back, he's going to have the ball in his hand a lot more, unless he's willing to play off the ball more. But that's my only concern. Just kind of is Trae Young like taking away from the development of like Jalen Johnson, like from a playmaking perspective, honestly. So
taking the ball out of his hands. Yeah, I get what you mean. Because he's shown during Trey's timeout that I don't know. Do you think Jalen Johnson could be like a number one
like
player, like on a good playoff team? Like, do you think he can be the number one like star on a team?
I'm gonna say yes, man. Like it's just the way he plays. He's like your modern day point forward, athletic, can shoot,
Yeah.
Rebound, defend. So I would say yes to that, yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that's why I asked. I was kind of just wondering if I was by myself from that standpoint. But yeah, I agree. I think he is a legit number one. We'll see, if he can obviously maintain the production, but he was doing like this kind of last year, and I think he got an injury that kind of sidelined him for a little bit towards the end of the season.
Yep.
But he was off to a great start last year, and it just looks like this may be the player that he is, man. So we'll see. I agree with you, though. Let's see what he looks like with Trae back, and we'll go from there. But yeah, crazy we're getting into trade talk. But I guess that's just like part of the trade, I guess, with the NBA as we approach the new year. Rumblings start happening. You got some teams that are off to horrible starts. So
yeah, trust me, I would not be talking about the Clippers no time soon. Anyway, shifting gears over to
the last you're going to hear them until February.
Yeah, shifting gears over to a team that is looking very, very prominent and special. Talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to discuss their historic start to the season. They are 24-1, the highest net rating pace in league history. I'm going to say that again, the highest net rating pace in league history. There's 7 players over there averaging 12 or more points per game. They got a lot of depth over there. Elite defense this year, elite offense as well. Yeah, man. Like, is this an all-time regular season team, or like, can they surpass my Golden State Warriors record like over 10 years ago? I honestly, bro, like I think that they can do it. I'm not gonna lie to you, because who's going to beat this team, bro? Like even on a Chet Holmgren or Jalen Williams or Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, like on their worst nights, bro, they still can beat anybody in the league. And I'm not over exaggerating when I say that. So, that's my question to you, man. Like, is this an all-time regular season team?
Yeah, I mean, we may end up looking back on this season or these last 2 seasons, and we may have to say, like, what? Best team ever? Like, I'm not like trying to get ahead of myself, man, but like 24-1, they're tied for the best start in NBA history with your Warriors. You mentioned from the 2015 season. They're so defensively sound. Like, it's like when you start with defense, I do put a lot of stock into that, like how good they are defensively. I believe they're number one in points per game, obviously. And you mentioned the net rating. They're beating teams by an average of 17 plus points per game. They have 17 wins out of the 24 by double digits this season. Like, yeah, I think they could end up having the best regular season that we've ever seen. And that's no disrespect, obvious, to the past, the Warriors and the Bulls that got to that level. But the pace and the depth, it's like, barring, knock on wood, barring like an SGA injury. Yeah, I think SGA is the only injury singularly that could derail their season. is the way I'm trying to phrase that. If J-Dub is out, we've already seen that. They're still the best team in the NBA. You know what I mean? That's the second best player.
Yeah, I know. Like,
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Like
they're going to the NBA Cup semifinals. It's like, to your point, when OKC puts their mind towards winning, is there any team you can see beating them? Like when they have a goal in mind.
no, like
I don't see it.
I like, bro. It's very simple to me. When I look at a team in the Western Conference that could get those guys a fight, in my humble opinion, the clear-cut answer is the Denver Nuggets.
Nuggets.
They match up with them size-wise, guys that can score and they have depth too over there in Denver. But I will say this: I'm not saying that Denver can beat those guys. They can put up a fight with them. Now, when I look at teams out in the East, I don't see no team that can match up with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So in saying that, if OKC can get out the West and make it to the finals, that's a championship right there, bro. Because no team in the East can, withstand the level of firepower on both sides that the Oklahoma City Thunder presents. So,
do you think the Pistons, do you think they're close at all? And I don't mean close to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean close to competing with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I guess the way I'm seeing it in my head, they're built similarly. Is that fair to say?
In terms of
deep youth.
Yeah, in terms of I can see guys knowing their role, knowing that Cade Cunningham is the guy, SGA is the guy. I mean, they still got ways to go though, because when you look at OKC, beside SGA, Jalen Williams can get you 25 in a night.
Who's that guy from Detroit? Yeah.
Check can give you 20 in a night. When you look at Detroit, outside of Cade, and I'm gonna say Jalen Darren, who else can give you 20 on any given night?
Yeah.
Not Tobias Harris, not Duncan Robinson, not Isaiah Stewart, not Ron Holland.
Yeah.
Potentially Jaden Ivey, but he just got back.
Jaden Ivey. Spark
he
plug.
just got back from injury, so you still want to see what he looks like. Sure, Thompson could potentially get to that level. He still got a lot of development to do, but I will say this: they are on the right track of potentially, modeling their, playing after OKC in terms of just having that depth, guys that can help K score. So,
I feel that. Yeah. I don't know. We've talked about it the last couple shows because they just keep winning games. They're literally just not losing, and I don't know. It just feels like everybody else is competing for second place.
Yeah,
they are in the semifinals for the NBA Cup as well, man. Which we got that coming up on Saturday, and then you got the NBA Cup final next Tuesday. How are you feeling about the? I'm sorry. What?
No, I just said OKC, man.
How are you feeling about the NBA Cup? OKC in the Final Four? Is there any chance? They played the Spurs in the semifinal. Wemby's injured, obviously. I did see his game time decision for Saturday, but maybe the Spurs,
I mean, obviously OKC are the heavy favorites, and rightfully so. But the San Antonio Spurs have been looking very, very nice without Wemby.
Right.
So to me, I say to answer your question with a question, I would say can the Spurs keep scoring pace with OKC? Can they keep up? I think that's what it's going to come down to, in a sense. Can they match those guys' energy offensively?
Right.
And if they can do that, then hey, all it takes is one game. It's not a series, it's one game. Can you do that?
If they
Somebody
had
that viral meme of that old guy saying he would just give me one day.
if they had Wemby for one game, I could see it. To your point, they just match up with the Spurs really well, I feel right? You look at what the Spurs have, from an offensive standpoint specifically, and it's very guard heavy. Mm-hmm. And obviously, OKC has plenty of guards they can throw. there to guard a De'Aaron Fox. I'm sure Lou Dort and some different guys will get thrown on him. Man, you got Alex Caruso. Is there anybody else? Am I forgetting anybody that's injured for OKC? Or are they fully healthy now with J-Dub back?
No, because I know Lou Dort was out, Caruso was out, and Hardenstein was out. So I don't know if they're going to play tomorrow. Now that was the last time I looked at it.
There was a couple game time decisions for Saturday. Let's see. Oklahoma City. No, you're right. Yeah, Casey Wallace is a game time decision.
He definitely gonna play.
Hartenstein's a game time decision. Isaiah Joe game time decision. I'm just trying to see, is Lou Dort still out? No, he looks like he's back. And Alex Caruso looks like he's back as well. So we'll see, man. We got the Knicks and the Orlando Magic playing in the Eastern semifinals, and then we got the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs playing in the Western Conference NBA Cup semifinal. How you feeling about the Eastern Conference matchup? Obviously, we've talked about it. Like, we lean OKC in the other matchup, but in the Eastern side of things, how do you feel there between the Magic and the Knicks? Mind you, Franz just went down with a knee injury.
Yeah, I'd say I trust Brunson the most. Out of anybody that's playing that game in terms of like the single game elimination standpoint, like he's the guy.
That's a good way to put it.
They can go out there and win you a game like this by himself. So I think that you can kind of favor New York from that perspective. But on the flip side of that, though, Franz is injured though, but the Magic still have, tall, lengthy defenders over there, guys that can get up in you and make it hard for you, bring that defensive pressure. So I'm saying that, like, that's how I feel, but it's like to me, the key question comes in, like, can the Magic force the Knicks to kind of play the slow, long game in a sense, like force those guys to really think about their decisions and just, go from there. So yeah, it's going to be a good matchup though. So overall, though, I'm gonna go with New York. That's my answer. And man, when Desmond Bane, bro, was talking shit when they beat the Miami Heat to advance, bro, I was so heated. It's like, bro, why do you do this? Yeah. Why? Like, you have not won nothing in this league to be talking like this, bro. Like,
he's a weirdo.
Humble. Be humble, bro. Just be humble. Did you see what he did to OG?
Yeah.
He threw a ball.
Like,
really, bro? Was that even necessary, dog? Like, this dude.
And I felt like OG in that situation. Like, what's up, bro? Like, you got beef with me? Like, what is it? Like, what did I do to you?
People literally have beef with you whole time. You just chilling, just trying to hoop, bro.
Because you literally could have just, like, you didn't have to throw it that hard. You could just literally, like, drop it on him if that's what you wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, he was already on the ground with his back, like, facing down. You know what I mean? You could throw the ball off his back and it's out of bounds on him. Yeah. Desmond Bane, he's like, excuse my language, he just seems like a dickhead, man. Like,
I don't know, bro.
It don't seem fun to be around.
It's crazy to say. Like, I actually may like Dylan Brooks more than him, and that's crazy. Like, seriously, like, it's crazy to say, but
I think so, man.
No, but what are your thoughts on the Magic versus the Knicks? Like, who you rocking with?
No, I think you made a great point about Jalen Brunson specifically, like the ability to peak for one game and be able to, like, guide your team to a win. I think that is a big thing in this. I kind of feel like the Magic are gonna win. They're 2-1 against the Knicks so far this season. I guess the way I'll put it, Slim, I want the Magic to win because I feel like they'll be a better matchup for Oklahoma City.
Okay, that's okay. I like that. Okay. Yeah.
What about you? Do you think you feel that way too?
Yeah. I think that. Well, hold on. Actually, because Franz is going to be out though. So that's okay. But New York, Bronson, Mikal, OG, Cat. Who else would they start? Mitchell Robinson? I don't know. That's a great question, honestly. I feel like I might probably go with New York, bro, because Franz being out, I think that's a huge loss, honestly. In a matchup like that, 6'10", giving you over 20 points per game, one of your best scorers on the team. Meanwhile, New York is going to have everybody I'm sure of. Brunson, Cat,
Yeah.
McHale, OG, Josh. Oh, yeah, Josh Hart. So I'll probably go with New York on that one, bro. But
Because I guess when I ask that question, man, the reason I say Orlando is because, to your point, the defensive prowess that they play with and their ability on that end. But what do you think it takes to beat OKC, like such a balanced team offensively and defensively? Do you have a better chance if you're like a high-powered offense like we saw with Indiana last postseason, or do you have a better chance if you're just defensive oriented like a Houston Rockets or even the Orlando Magic to a lesser extent? Like, what do you think is the key?
there is no damn key.
You don't have enough either way as much as OKC. You might have a better offense, so have a better
Yeah,
defense, so on and
that's
so
what I'm
forth.
saying. It's no key, bro. Like people have tried. It just is no answer to it. Like you better hope that in another year or two that they just decide to break that shit up because honestly, bro, if the Clippers continue to suck at the way that they're sucking right now, and OKC get a high draft pick, bro, that's the start of a dynasty right there, bro. I'm telling you.
Oh,
That-
yeah.
but
Yeah.
so honestly, to end this out, so your picks for the East is
I'm going with
Orlando.
Orlando, but I agree.
Yes.
It should be a great game,
I'm gonna go
nonetheless.
with I'm gonna go with New York. The West, you're gonna go OKC. I'm gonna
Um,
go with it.
Let
You
me
know
ask
what?
you this about the West.
I'm gonna go with San Antonio because
Okay.
they have been looking pretty good without Wemby. So I'm not going to deter and take none away from them. So I'm gonna go with the San Antonio Spurs, and it's nice for us to kind of be different in a sense, you know. So
Yeah, no, I feel that. I
yeah.
think I think with San Antonio, if it was a random regular season game, I could see them winning. I just think when OKC like puts their mind to something,
Mhm.
like they're trying to win the NBA Cup.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel it. I would like to see the Spurs win just to have some variance and some difference, right? Because we're looking at OKC, they're probably going to win the NBA championship. I would like to see them like not win the NBA Cup as well, but
Yeah,
um,
that'd be funny though, bro. They trying to have the greatest season of all time, literally, bro.
I
Like,
think you make a great point about Denver, though. They are interesting. We'll see how the season plays out because they do have Jokic, who is just this unicorn of a matchup, right? Something that you can have as much firepower as you want. You're not going to be able to stop Jokic. So, how does it look? But man, yeah, I got to finish up. I've got OKC winning the NBA Cup. It's annoying as
yeah.
hell. They'll probably blow Orlando or New York out.
Yeah, it'd be funny. But moving on to the weekly.
Yes,
Wait,
sir.
before I do that, do you got anything else?
No,
Before
no. That's it, brother. Get us to our favorite segment, my man.
all right, man. To get ready to wrap this show out, bro, we have the weekly Who You Got segment chat, and this one is going to be very interesting, fun. It's about trade targets. So in saying that, I'm gonna list some names and kind of give a free description on those guys. But the Who You Got segment, pick who you would want or who you want your team to trade for out of Giannis, Kawhi, Harden, and AD. Giannis, obviously, in my opinion, the best player in this group. MVP level on both sides. He is a huge trade cost though, but it's worth it though if you want to kind of contend or get over the hump to win a championship.
Yeah,
Kawhi, like I just alluded to earlier, regular season, he really just not there, but he's very elite when locked in. So come postseason, he will still do his thing. Obviously his injury, uh, plus his scandal issues will kind of worry you a little bit in a sense. But Kawhi is Kawhi when he's right. So it's like a short-term championship type of piece. If you want to just contend right now, then hey, I don't see why not go
yeah,
all in for him. Harden on the other end, still a high level offensive engine. Best value. I think he's the cheapest trade package out of all those guys, honestly.
it's a good way to.
He raised your floor instantly. Like you seen when he first got traded to the Clippers, like they went on a crazy run, like
Yeah,
for a couple of weeks when he first got down there. And then AD, some would say he's still top 10 when he's healthy, but I say top 15. He's still one of the ones when healthy. He brings defense, scoring, championship experience. Only concerns though, his contract, his age, and his injuries are a big risk while trading for a guy like that. So Out of those guys, man, who would you want your team to trade for? Out of those guys,
Yeah, I'm gonna go from Sixers perspective just because that's obviously my team, and I'm just gonna think of it
yeah,
because it does depend on the
yeah.
roster that you're working with, which one you would want to go for. But
Mhm.
I think just from a cost effective path for the Sixers, would be trying to get to the next level, right? I view them as a playoff team when healthy right now. If you want to get to a championship contender, right, you would make this move. Um, my top two candidates, I'm deciding right now, Slim. I'm giving you two. I'm deciding in my head who they are.
Yeah.
AD and Kawhi, they're my top two. I'm gonna go AD. I'm gonna
Okay.
go AD because I think AD would be cheaper than Kawhi as far as what you would give up for him versus what you would give up for Kawhi. Because at the end of the day, Kawhi is going to be highly coveted regardless of his injury history. He's a two-way player that is very effective. You hit me with the stat before the show, 50-40-90 club that he's working in right now this season. So he's playing at a high level. He'll be highly coveted. I think you can get AD for less. And the idea behind it with the Sixers, man, is that you get cover for if Embiid's not there, but then also a guy that you put him next to Embiid, that looks pretty crazy.
Yeah.
If he's playing at the 4 and Embiid's at the 5, it's a little old school from a size perspective, but defensively, I just feel like that sounds crazy. But in return, if AD's out, then maybe you have Embiid to fill in for him, and then vice versa. The way it would really work, they would just both be out at the same time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be ridiculous, right? That would go crazy.
you can say the same thing when it comes to the Sixers for all of those guys, though. They all come with injury history or older age, whatever the case may be.
Unfortunately, that is the truth. Yeah.
Giannis, the exception, but Giannis is going to cost you a ransom. It's going to be so much.
Yeah.
What about you? Or if you want to go from Warriors' perspective
Yeah.
or
Oh,
however
yeah,
you
for
want to
sure.
do it.
Yeah, Warriors for sure. I would have to go with Giannis, bro. Like, obviously, I know we would have to give up a lot to get him, but I look at it from the perspective of like Steph Curry. His last years in the NBA, probably like, why not go all in? Like, trade all your young pieces, your picks. I don't give a
Yeah.
damn about the rebuild, and we can worry about this shit after he
Yeah.
retires. Steph, Jimmy, and Giannis. That sounds like a damn good trio in the NBA, in my opinion. Try to go out there and win you a championship. You can figure out the rest on the fly, but go out there and get you a guy like Giannis. So yeah, I would have to go with Greek. I will say this: I kind of broke this down though. Like, if you a win now team,
Yeah.
here's my rankings. I would go Giannis, AD, Kawhi, Harden. If you need a franchise star, Giannis, Kawhi, AD, Harden. That's kind of, in my opinion, the best way to kind of rank it in a sense.
Okay.
But
I feel
nonetheless,
that.
Giannis is the top guy on both of those lists.
Yeah.
Nonetheless,
No, I do agree with that. And, I think you made a great pick there, man, because I think that is the perfect, like, roster construction where you do go for the big dog in Giannis. I think you do send it, to your point, Steph. This is the guy you want to get to the final. You know what I mean? You want to get him the final ring before he retires at some point. So, yeah, I think Giannis makes a ton of sense. If I could get Giannis on Philly without giving up, like, basically Maxey, I'd probably do it.
yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
I just don't think it would be possible. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's
go
what
with
I kind of
AD.
wonder. I was like, you think y'all can get AD without giving up Embiid? You think that's possible? It's something to think about. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm just trying to think of how we could get the money to work, right? Because I think we would have like we have young pieces that the Mavs would want for the future. I think whether it be McCain or VJ, one of those guys would probably be in the deal.
Mhm.
I'm not saying I would do that either. I don't want to trade either of those guys right now. I want to see what we have, but it's interesting. I would trade them for Giannis, though, to be clear, obviously.
Yeah, the
But
best player out of all these guys. But nah, that's
easily.
pretty much it as we end this episode out of NBA to the Galaxy podcast. Make sure you guys shoot my guy Scotty with a follow on X at Scotty Drown, as well as myself at R2R30111.
Yes, sir.
You can follow our TikTok page at NBA to the Galaxy Pod and follow our YouTube at To the Galaxy Podcast. And yeah, we'll try to be here again next week for sure. recapping the NBA Cup, seeing how
Yes, sir.
everything went. And yeah, man, make sure you guys tap in with us next week. With that being said, we out. Peace.
Peace, everybody. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate y'all. Until next week. Peace.
Yes, sir.